24/7, 365. The fantasy season never dies. Welcome to Every Day is Draft Day. Presented by Champions Round.
Gosh, didn't that intro sound more intense than normal? What's up, everyone?
It really was. It was aggressive.
It's Friday. We kind of, we're a little sluggish with this mailbag episode, but we have a great one for you. So many good questions. I'm your host, Stephie Smalls. This is my co-host, Eagle Dan FF. Eagle Dan FF, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. It is Friday. I don't have 2 feet of snow outside my window. I'm able to go outside. So really, it's a great day for me.
Yes. So how we're coping with that is we're drinking some vino at 4 o'clock. It's okay. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And I mean, I wouldn't want to do anything else on a Friday than do the show. It's a blast every time. We've had so many good questions lately. And this week, I think it set the bar for
even better. This might be the best show ever, honestly.
It might be. It could be.
It might be.
We'll find out. Want to jump right into it?
Let's do it.
All right. At Be More Trevor, who is fantastic on Twitter, asks, is David Johnson even worth thinking about? I will let you answer this first because my response is I think it's hilarious.
No. I don't think that David Johnson, who hasn't been effective in about 16 years, will suddenly come in halfway through the season and matter. I think Kamara is still the number one back there. We all know that, and that he's just a depth guy. He's one of those names that are awesome or used to be awesome, but just aren't. So don't bother.
Yeah. So it's so funny. Like, I will never admit when I don't know something. I never act like I know everything. But like, I legitimately had to Google what TV was on. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding you guys. Like, I forgot about David Johnson so much.
I thought he retired, honestly. I didn't think that he was still playing.
He's on the Saints? What the fuck? I don't, like, when did that happen? 2 days ago? I know. Yeah. Deadass, not being dramatic. Had to look up what team he was even on. We last saw him in, like, 2021 for the Texans. I mean, if you have Kamara, sure. I don't know that, like, the Saints are even doing anything effective enough that it would even really matter if
right.
Kamara,
like, does it even matter? Like, the Saints are like a black hole at this point. Like, they don't know who the quarterback is. They're trying out Andy Dalton. Like, all the receivers are hurt. Like, why even bother? Like, what's the point, really?
Yeah, he's just not. It's kind of a waste of even like a bench spot. Like, this is a classic case of just like we just don't really need to do that.
We don't.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Which way do I want to go? All right, let's go to this one. At Classic Mike GRFN. This is a 2-part question. So the first one is, who do you like rest of the season? Greg Dulcich, aka Daddy Dulcich. That's not part of him. I just said that. Or Tyler Higbee. I'll let you rip it first.
I'm going to go with Tyler Higbee just because with Cooper Kupp no longer existing for the Rams and my Scott Fishbowl team, tears. I think that Higbee will, generate a lot of the, underneath targets that Cooper Kupp was famous for. He's been more consistent. I know that Dulcich has been really hot the past couple of weeks. He's had a couple like top 5 tight end weeks, but I just think that Higbee has been more consistent overall this year, and I expect to see that uptick for him now that Kupp is hurt.
Yeah, I think that you said something that really matters, and the word is consistent. And if you are looking for consistency, like Higbee is quietly tight end 8 on the fucking season. Who the hell knows? I had no idea. I couldn't even tell you that. I had no idea. Looked that up, found that out today. He's averaging about 9.2 fantasy points per game. Greg Dulcich is honestly outscoring by a little bit, unless you look at, the last 5 weeks. He's outscoring Higbee by like 3.2, 3.3, whatever it is. Points. I'm torn here, but if you look at the schedules, you look at how many points to tight ends these teams are allowing, I think Higbee is favorable. My only concern is, like, are we creeping on the realm of like a massive Dulcich like breakout, which is definitely possible. I think both of it, their schedules the rest of the season, both are fine for tight ends.
Yeah, they're fine.
I think with Kupp being out, I think with the consistency you've been getting, Higbee is probably smarter. Like, I want to say Dulcich.
Yeah.
But
Well, Dulcich is obviously a favorite for both of us ever
It's
since,
hard
so
to not.
it is. But I just think that I just can't trust the Broncos either. Like the Broncos have been like so terrible that
Can you trust the Rams?
I can trust Stafford throwing to Higbee. I don't really trust the Rams like running game or anything else. I mean, there's no really other receiver besides Allen Robinson, but like you can't really trust Allen Robinson. Higbee has been able to, score even with Cooper Kupp there. So without him, I think he's not like he's just going to drop off the face of the earth. I think when you're starting tight ends, especially this year where tight ends have just blown massive amounts of dick, I just think that you need that consistency week to week, and that's what Higbee gives you. Dulcich might have a higher upside, but you're going to be holding your breath starting him. He could give you like that 15 to 20 point game, or give you like 2 points, and then you're fucked.
Yeah, the problem is, which is hilarious, because I think I still trust the dysfunction of the Rams more than I trust Russell Wilson, who I feel like not enough people are talking about the fact that like some of you were drafting him so high, and I'm genuinely embarrassed for you. Like genuinely embarrassed that people were all in as heavy as they were. I would love to see how much money people have lost because there's not a shot.
Millions of dollars.
If people were betting them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Betting them to go to the Super Bowl. All right, we'll move on. Higbee is safer. If you're in a spot where you're like barely gonna make your fantasy playoffs and like you kind of are like gunning for upside, like I might get frisky and go with Dulcich, but like if you want a safety net, I think Higbee is like the safest floor ever.
If you need to hit a home run, pick Dulcich. If you need to hit a double, pick Higbee.
There you go. Love it. All right.
Boom.
Also coming from Classic Mike GRFN, this is a Giants question. So I'm trying to understand why the Giants haven't been involving Wan'Dale as much as they should. What's stopping them? Had an 8-target game, then became non-existent after. I will let you give your spiel. My spiel will probably be longer than yours since I feel kind of strongly about this.
I honestly don't understand why he hasn't gotten more targets at all. Like as soon as he got healthy enough to start, he should have been getting most of them because it's not like there's any receiver there. It's not like Darius Slayton or Sills or Richie James are players that you can stop from stopping Robinson from ascending into that wide receiver 1 role. So it really is confusing to me with as much talent. I know he's a rookie and like we expect rookies to just come in and be like Jamar Chases and Justin Jeffersons, but that's not always the case. But even still, just on like pure talent alone, I'm really surprised that Wan'Dale hasn't gotten more working targets in the offense. And I really, as the season progresses, I expect him to get more because why are you throwing to anyone else, really?
Okay, are you ready? Buckle in.
I'm ready. I'm buckled.
Okay. Here's the thing, and I'm hearing a lot of this, and everyone's talking about how it's not sustainable what the Giants are doing. They're running the ball too much, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. They've also played opponents that it hasn't required them to throw the ball yet. Like, I don't think it's been a necessity to win. And I think what Brian Dable is doing is just walking into games and being like, how do I win this game? He said the other day, like, if Saquon needs to run the ball 50 times for them to win a game, then he's running the ball 50 times. If they have to pass the ball, that's what they're going to do. They're just getting the job done with running the ball through the defense. I think the Wan'Dale game is coming. I think it could be against the Lions defense. I think the Lions defense is absolutely ass. I think that
it really is.
See snap count be exactly where you want it to be, approaching a breakout game since week 7. And my thing is too, like, and I've knocked Slayton in the past, these past 2 years, a lot of drops. Him and Ingram have killed this team for the past 2 years. But Slayton's kind of playing at a Slayton level now. And I think that chemistry is something with the New York Giants, with Daniel Jones. I just think that they're going to involve him as much as they need to. I think that Richie James kind of shot himself in the foot. And I think that he is probably done. We've seen those targets, those snaps, that's starting to come down. Wan'Dale will get involved eventually. Like, I don't see that. I don't think they would have shipped away Kadarius Toney if they weren't confident in what they had with Wan'Dale. So this would be a great week. I said it on Gambling with Gold earlier this week. This is a great opportunity for the New York Giants to actually be passing the ball. Like, we might see Daniel Jones like airing it out finally, because you can do that against the Detroit Lions. So I see this game being high scoring. I see Daniel Jones going over. I don't care what his passing prop is and probably going over it.
Mhm.
I think it's a good opportunity for this team to like make everyone quiet a little bit about the fact that they do only run the ball. Are they going to do that? I don't know. Like I can't honestly say with faith that I think that's going to happen. I believe in Brian Daboll and that he's going to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a great point that Dable has, shown throughout the year that, running the ball and defense has gotten you guys to the record you need to get to. But I think that, and I know you said like, this year has been like, free money that you don't expect it to go far, but you have a really good shot of making the playoffs. So it really behooves the Giants now and, going into next year to show that you have like constructed some semblance of a decent passing game to go along with Saquon. One, to help Saquon out so he isn't running the ball 50 times a game and grinding him into dust.
Yeah.
And two, you get that balance that will help you later on when you do make the playoffs. So I really think. Go ahead.
No, go finish your point.
Right. All right. That was done.
Okay. No, I think that the Giants. Here's the thing with the Giants too. They have the toughest schedule remaining in the NFL. They play two easy opponents, which is the Lions and the Colts. Outside of that, they're basically playing the NFC East and the Vikings. Like that is their remaining schedule. It is twice against the Eagles, twice against the Commanders. They play the Colts, the Lions. Am I missing one in there? Actually, I don't think so. That sounds like enough weeks to me.
No,
so it'll be interesting what the Giants do. This is a good spot for them.
The Cowboys again? Do you face the Cowboys again?
Cowboys, yes, on Thanksgiving. So there you go, missing it. But all NFC East and two outside opponents. So they're in a good spot where like this is almost like a must win if their intention is to make the playoffs, which is bizarre, kind of. The Giants season is a success, bottom line. Like they've gotten to a point where like no one thought they were winning more than 6 games. So beautiful what they've been able to do. We will move off the Giants or else this will turn to a New York Giants pod. Let's get to this next question that I'm upset about this and I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to ask the question. I'll let you respond. I just don't feel good about it because you know how much I like the player. Okay. At Tootsie Pop 6, Rachel is fantastic. One of my favorite people ever. What the fuck is up with CEH? I'm sorry. That's what
this hurts me a lot too because I spent a first round pick on him in rookie drafts and in redraft too. Back when he got when the Chiefs drafted him. Mm-hmm. I just think that he has just lost confidence. Honestly, I think he came in. We kind of overrated how much talent he actually had. He was always okay. He was never the greatest back, and he got like 5 snaps last week, and Pacheco just seems like he wants the spot more. So the Chiefs gave it to him. I mean, it just seems like CEH just didn't seem like he was really trying to to hold on to his job as hard as he probably should have. And Andy Reid isn't going to give you work if you haven't proven that you deserve it. So it's a massive disappointment. I think that he was overdrafted and he just has lost his confidence in his ability.
Yeah. He is the perfect example of someone that I think just needs a new team. He doesn't need to be on that team anymore. I think that he's honestly an awesome talent. People forget that because everyone plays fantasy and that's all you're focused on and you're not watching games. You didn't follow him in college, but CH is a great running back. And I think that he just needs a change of scenery. I don't know what's going on there. But Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the guy, unfortunately. So if you're
Fortunately.
I know, fortunately, but also unfortunately. Well, Rutgers and you have the whole Rutgers thing going on. All right, let's the question from the chat.
All right.
Who are your favorite fantasy hype trains over the past few years? Remember Christian, Michael
and Niall Davis.
Will Toney end up one of those, or more like OBJ and a league winner?
Ooh, OBJ is rare air. One of the hype guys I really like, come out of nowhere guys I really enjoyed was Peyton Hillis back in 2013 or whatever it was, where he had that one great season with 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns, got the Madden cover, and was literally never heard from again, which is hilarious. As for Toney, I don't think he'll be OBJ. He could be. I wouldn't call him a league winner either. I think he's going to have a great week this week because of the injuries to Juju and Miko, and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But as far as league winner goes, I don't think he's right up there in that atmosphere just yet.
Yeah. So, first of all, some of my favorite fantasy hype trains, it's been like the past couple of years. Like Trey Sermon was fucking hilarious. That was like the fantasy community couldn't have missed on a player more. You look at that entire wide receiver, the Terrace Marshall, the Tutu Atwell, all those type of guys, like those were very comical to me. Mm-hmm. Hype trains, you can probably start talking about some of the quarterbacks too. If you want to talk about Malik Willis, we can, but we're not going to do that here because that's kind of mean. As far as Kadarius Toney goes, listen, my question is, and this, I'm trying to take my Giants bias out of this.
Okay, take it away.
How is it not working in that locker room? Like, what happened that they traded him? And I think that we will not find out that answer for a little bit. I think that that's something that's going to come out in a couple of years. I just genuinely don't understand how it didn't work. Because you see all these guys really buying in to the New York system. Do I get it from last year? Yes. Something had to happen that we don't fully understand is all.
That's definitely one of those episodes of Unsolved Mysteries that needs
I love that show.
Right? Like you said, I mean, that's something I wonder too, because, you know, the culture is completely 180'd in New York. Yeah. And it got so bad that, you know, he had an injury that didn't seem as bad as it was. And as soon as he left, it was all better. Not saying he faked it, but, you know, it was really weird. Like the way he got, you know, cut after just after a year. And now he's doing okay in Kansas City. I mean, it must have been like maybe like a personal thing between him and Dable. I can't think of a professional reason why you would do that.
And I'll move off this question because I know not everyone wants to talk about the Giants nonstop, despite that's what I want to do. But
yes,
I think that in hindsight, like you could have looked at this, but the drafting of Wan'Dale Robinson was very much foreshadowing like this to happen because they are somewhat similar players. I don't care who you think is a better player. But
couldn't you use both?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know though. Can you? It's weird. Something doesn't entirely make sense is all. All right, let's do one more from the chat and then we'll jump back into the ones that got submitted.
One more to the chat.
Okay. Oh, he is always with us and I love this.
Yes.
Thanks for always tuning in. We appreciate and love you. With the Vikings being frauds, how do you think they'll finish the season?
Go ahead, Steph. You first.
Luckily for the Vikings, they have an adorable schedule. Like adorable. Not like a difficult schedule. And the thing with the Vikings too, you look at the Vikings and there is a lot around like what the stereotype is for the Vikings and that they are frauds. I get it. But if they were to win a Super Bowl, we would reset again. The next year, it'd be like the Vikings are frauds. Like it wouldn't matter because everyone hates the Vikings. They hate Kirk Cousins. The Vikings are going to win it 11 games at the minimum to me. Like I think that's their floor. And at this point too, they're 2 weeks away from cinching the NFC North. They're in a good spot right now. I don't think the Vikings are frauds because I think if you're someone that watched their games last year and you watch their games this year, they're playing enough like clean enough football to just win. Mm-hmm. And I think that the difference is last year under Mike Zimmer, they weren't finishing games. They're playing almost the same exact football, which is actually fucking hilarious. And before Zimmer got dragged, their playbook has not changed quite literally at all. Mm-hmm. The difference is they're finishing games. So right. They're going to the playoffs, whether everyone likes it or not.
Well, yeah, I think the playoffs are you know, that's a lock, I think, for the Vikings at this point. I wouldn't even call them frauds. I really think it all comes down to one question. Can Kirk Cousins perform in prime time? Can he perform when the pressure is the hardest? And that's really what the Viking season is going to come down to. Mm-hmm. Everyone, how the Eagles beat them back in like week 2 or 3. I think it was week 3. Mm-hmm. And it was a primetime Kirk. And, you know, as long as Kirk is like 1 p.m. Kirk, then it's fine. But eventually, you know, Kirk's going to have to perform, you know, when the pressure is on him to perform, especially, you know, in these playoffs when the Vikings are going to go in, you know, as a really good team. So I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll lose probably in the divisional round. That's how I think the season ends. Because I just don't.
Yeah, I think it depends who they play, and then
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how their season plays out. They're in a good spot. Knock on wood. They're very healthy still.
Yeah, that's it.
And that is a big part of it. I think we've seen Kirk's confidence boost. I think that locker room, everyone's underestimating how much that culture has changed. Like, you want to talk about two locker rooms, that's culture has changed so significantly. It's the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. Like, they're nearly, like, I swear to God, their plane is going to crash because they are shaking it from dancing and putting chains on Kirk Cousins and drinking and, like, going off because they're all bought in now. They're winning games. They're bought into the system. The defense is starting to step up. Like, and I think it's a testament to just, like, what can happen if you actually make the appropriate changes in your front office.
Yeah. I mean, this shows that coaching, matters, and hopefully this stops people from hiring Josh McDaniels ever again.
Oh, God, Jesus. All right. That's a whole other. We could do a whole podcast on Josh McDaniels, who I don't know how.
I don't want to. I don't want to do a podcast.
All right. Let's take another question. We're going to do one of the questions that were submitted, and then we'll go back to the chat. At Ladarius_Brown, another fantastic friend of the show. Let's see. What do you say? When do you see Desmond Ridder starting a game for the Falcons this season?
I don't. Because
either.
Even though the Falcons are 4-6, they're only a game out of first in the NFC South. Somehow, they're the only they have no teams with winning records. It's embarrassing. So as long as the Falcons are in quote unquote contention for the division, they will not make that switch because their season technically isn't over, even though it would be over in pretty much any other division.
Yeah, and
so the answer is we won't see him.
Yeah, and I'm sad about that a little bit. Like, I want to see him, but I wonder too, there's two sides to this. So, like, I very much think that the Falcons are not going to let Mariota play the way he did last week for, like, another 3 weeks. Like, that would be absurd. But also, do they do that because they're low-key winning way more games than anyone expected? And now we're at the point in the season where teams are like, oh, fuck, we have to draft. There's a draft position. Like, does that start to come into play? And do you start questioning, like, could Desmond Ridder maybe help them win some of these games on the tail end of the season? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Falcons' schedule. I don't think it's horrible, though.
It's not horrible. They got the Bears, Commanders, Steelers, Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think Mariota is here to stay, unfortunately, for all of our Pitts shares. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is from the chat. Eric, what's up? Hey, would you play Toney over Devontae Smith this week? That's a sad, sucky question. I don't think I would.
I would not.
AJ Brown is dealing with something. Talk to me. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, he hurt his ankle against Washington, but he'll play, but he'll probably be a little bit less than 100%. And also, Dallas Goedert isn't there anymore. So a lot of the targets are going to be funneled through the receivers. So Smith is going to be, really busy the next couple of weeks in terms of how many targets he's going to get. So as much as I like Toney, I think he's in a good spot this week with Casey's receivers being injured. Yeah. I wouldn't play him over Devontae Smith.
And I think too, this is the part of the season I almost sent this tweet out and got distracted. Is like, you have to be careful with, like, how you analyze limited practice and how you analyze some of these, like, very straightforwardly playoff contender. Like the Eagles are going to the playoffs if they don't already get, like, a bye, right? Like, they are going to be in a good spot right now. So can you still win games with having AJ Brown on the field without actually using him that much? Yeah, you can. The Eagles are that good. Like, they genuinely right now do not need AJ Brown. Do they need AJ Brown to beat teams down the road?
Yes.
In the playoffs? Yeah, they do. So they're going to get to a spot, like even Justin Jefferson, right? There was this overreaction because Justin Jefferson was limited because of his toe. Guess what? That's going to happen the rest of the fucking season because teams that need a player, they're going to rest the shit out of them. Why would you have Justin Jefferson practice? He doesn't need to practice. He's the best, one of the best, depending on how you feel, receivers in the entire league. You don't need him to practice anymore. You're sitting here week 11, you're looking at a very nice spot in the playoffs rest your guy, keep him healthy. So that's my take on that. All right, let's go to the next question. This one was submitted.
Rest your guys.
Yeah, rest your guys. It happens all the time. This comes from @Ralph Leverwitz. Eagles big bounce back versus Colts ? -6.5. The line is now 7.
Oh wow, 7. Oh.
And I will tell you, I'll say this and then we'll get into our feelings. 53% of the bets and 76% of the money are on the Colts. My next thought on this before I pass it off to you is people are fucking sickos. Because I get it. Like I called it this on Gambling with Gold earlier in the week. This is the Village Idiot game. Like the public loves the story. We love Jeff Saturday. Like they're all in on the Eagles finally showing some flaws. And now we're going to bet on you guys are going to bet on Matt Ryan and Jeff Saturday to cover that. How about you just not bet? I wouldn't bet this game. I think that Jonathan Taylor probably going to have a phenomenal day. And is that what could maybe keep this game pretty close? Yeah, I definitely feel strongly about that. But I love how everyone panics and now we're off of Philadelphia.
Yeah. I think like the whole fraud, everyone's waiting for us to lose to say that we're frauds, which is, whatever. I think that, signing Limball Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, we realize that our run defense is absolute crap and Swiss cheese right now. And, we have a string of really great running backs, starting with Jonathan Taylor, coming up, and that we need to stop, or what happened in Washington is going to repeat itself. I think that I don't believe that we will, even with Dallas Goedert being injured and A.J. Brown being less than 100%. I think that we are good enough, depending. It really depends on if our defensive coordinator got his head out of his ass and realized that we can't keep playing.
He's bad.
He's really bad. I hate him.
He needs to get fired after the season, to be clear.
Right now. Yes, fired yesterday.
No way. He needs to go.
We can't keep playing this nickel zone, 3-down lineman shit against teams that are going to run the ball that can't pass. Like, we can't let Matt Ryan beat us. Matt Ryan is a dinosaur. So I really think it's a good slap in the face to lose to a divisional opponent at home. Having Brian Robinson, run all over you. So hopefully that woke us up enough. So we, turn around and, handle business and win this game. I think we'll do well, but I really depends on how well we contain Jonathan Taylor. That's really the key to the whole game.
Okay, so just asking you, are you at all nervous about this game? There's got to be a layer of nerves, right? A little bit.
Yes, I am on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm a 3 on nerves because we really need to stop the run. If we're going to go anywhere in the playoffs, if we're going to do anything that we want to do this year in terms of getting to the Super Bowl or any kind of goals, the teams are going to be facing in the playoffs, and the teams we're facing now, if we want to keep the number 1 seed, they're going to run the ball against us. That's not the secret. You have to be able to adjust to what teams are going to do. If me and you and Joe Schmo sitting there knows that Jonathan Taylor is going to run against us, and Aaron Jones and Saquon Barkley, everyone's going to run the ball. We have to be able to stop the run. That's really it. So it really comes down to can Jonathan Gannon adjust his scheme to do that one goal. If we are able to not even stop, because you can't stop Jonathan, you can't stop these running backs. If you can minimize the damage they do, then we will be fine. I need to see that we can do that. That's why I'm at a 3. If we can limit him, then I'm fine. If not, then there will probably be a repeat of the Washington game, and we'll probably lose.
Yeah, I think that they recognize this, and then we'll move on from this question because I know we've been on it for a while, but obviously as an Eagles and Giants fan, we're gonna separate on these certain things. But like you look at the moves that the Eagles have made, right? Adding these players because you see what happens when you have one of your best guys out and the effect that it's had on this team and their run D. And you look at the Eagles schedule and they're playing a lot of really good run offenses. And that's a problem because you still have to play the Giants. You have to play the Colts. You guys play the
Green
Cowboys again, right?
Yep.
You got to play Green Bay. These are all teams that have very look at it. So they're in a spot where it's like, shit, we're about to face like the top 5 running backs in the fucking league at this point. We got to pull it together here. So yeah, stressful. Let's take one from the chat before we move on to the ones that got submitted. In my flex spot, I have Foreman starting right now. Should I start Devontae Smith instead?
Who are the Panthers?
I am torn here.
The Panthers are facing the Ravens. Ooh, the Ravens? Yeah, I played Devontae Smith. Yeah. I mean, Carolina's going to get crushed by Baltimore. I mean, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I think they're going to get spanked a little bit.
Yeah, Baker starting. I have no faith in that offense whatsoever. So I'm definitely starting Smith.
I would say with AJ Brown and what we were saying earlier, like Smith probably has a little bit more upside here. I think, and I'm with you. Like I think the Ravens game is a joke. Like I think that this is where the Ravens make their statement. They have a very easy schedule moving forward. You've watched this team, this defense finally get back into form. So I think off a bye, Carolina is absolutely fucked, to be like just blunt. I don't think they're in a good spot. I'm staying away from this line, not interested. All right, let's see. What do we have next? Where's the next question? I don't even know. I lost my whole little sheet here.
I got it. I'll say it.
Okay, what's next?
So at Will_Jenks90 says, in my second flex spot, non-PPR, Joshua Palmer, Jacoby Myers, Mungo Gallup, or the star of the show, Kadarius Toney. It's Kadarius Toney.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. So with this question, I will say there's two very easy answers for me. Like you could be between these two. Okay. Joshua Palmer has a great matchup. It's shocking, actually. Kansas City is randomly they're not that good against wide receivers. Like they're allowing the 5th most points to wide receivers in fantasy. With that being said, which I really like this game, I kind of like the Chargers-Chiefs game to be this massive shootout. Like I love that. It's usually high scoring when these teams play. The Chargers historically also played very well against the Chiefs. With that being said, it's got to be Toney.
It's got to be Toney.
Right?
Yeah. Toney should be at worst wide receiver 2 for this game, because depending on how you feel about MBS,
yes,
like, he's wide receiver 2 and at worst 3rd in targets with Kelsey. So I mean, they're going to run him the ball. They're going to put him in that hard.
They're going to run the ball a lot.
Runs. Yeah, he's going to
because the Chargers run D fucking sucks.
It doesn't just suck; it fucking sucks.
It fucking sucks. And I mean, the Chargers, again, like actually decent against wide receivers, but the volume and opportunity here for Toney is just sky high. So I'm in on Toney. All right, next question is I think it's supposed to say kill cam, but it's with a C.
Yes.
I don't even know if we can say the word kill on live streams, but I'm doing it.
Still
cam 1990 asks, which I hate this question because it's stupid. Who do you consider the best team in the NFC? And I will let the Eagles fan, Eagle Dan FF, take the first take of this.
The best team in the NFC is the New Orleans Saints. Now, it's still the Eagles. I think that everyone's gonna say you're a homer and whatever. Fine, whatever. Shut up. I don't care. We had a hiccup against the Commanders and the Vikings still beat the Bills, but the Bills aren't doing that great right now anyway. And we did beat the Vikings. I know it was in prime time and everyone uses that as an excuse or whatever. But I mean it's really pretty close. I mean the way both are playing right now, it's a toss up. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles basically just because we've already proven that we can beat the Vikings. That's my tie break, really. But it is, I mean, it really is, much closer than you would have thought, even a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think what happened was, and again, like talked about this earlier in the week on Gambling with Gold, is what has happened now in the NFL, in the AFC, in the NFC, is that the gap for the great teams and the okay teams, because there was never like good teams. It was either you were a great team or you were okay. That gap has just gotten very small, right? Like it's not as big of a gap. I think that we've seen the weaknesses. We know what the weaknesses are in the Chiefs. We know what the weaknesses are in the Eagles now, which again, and I said this to you last time we did this, like I felt like the last 3 weeks, whatever couple weeks it was, you started to slowly see the Eagles actually have to give a little bit more effort in games. Like, it wasn't this, we're winning this game, we don't have to try that hard. It was more like, oh shit, like the Texans are gonna beat us if we don't like try. So like there's a big difference there, right? I think that the Vikings and the Eagles are obviously up there. I think that the Vikings can make a very big statement by beating Dallas this weekend. If they beat Dallas and they beat them by a touchdown, I think that there is an argument to be made for the Vikings getting hot at the right time, for them continuing to win. But I don't think there's a big difference between the two. I think they just have different weaknesses. That's all.
Do you because you said in the past couple of weeks that the Eagles are like the Cardinals of a couple of years ago, where they started really strong and then faded. Do you think that that's how it is, or do you think like it's a hiccup, or maybe not as good as our record was, but we're still going to be good enough to make some noise later on? How do you feel now?
It's so crazy because I was thinking too, like last year when you guys got that wild card spot, right? Like we all knew you were fucking losing, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
like, it was not like no one thought that no one thought that you guys were winning that game. We all knew you were fucking losing. This is a very obviously a great team, right? It's a great football team. Unfortunately, like I would hate for you guys to. Well, I don't. It's not that I care. So I care, but I don't care.
Don't pretend that you care.
Right. I don't care, but like I would hate for you guys to start getting unhealthy right now. Like that would suck because it's like such a great season. And like, again, like I still am an NFL fan. I want to see good teams play football. Right. I want to see the Eagles have a nice playoff. Like you want to see them in the playoffs. You want to see them compete against these other really great teams.
You want a good matchup.
I don't think comparing them to the Cardinals anymore is fair. I think that health would be their demise right now. And if they can't, if the patches that they're putting onto the run D is not enough, then you might walk into problems. But the Eagles right now are a safe bet on, if they don't cinch the NFC, it would be shocking to not get the 1 seed, I think. Unless the Vikings go on a run here. If they win the next 3 games, you guys are going to start getting close here.
It really depends on how they play against Dallas. Dallas has shown us a lot.
I agree.
I also accept your apology.
Yeah. Okay. I apologize. I know I did. And I feel like, and I said this on Gambling with Gold, so it's not a secret. I think Dallas is losing one of the next 2 games. So they're either beating the Vikings and then losing to the Giants on Thanksgiving, which we know the history of the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. This isn't me thinking the Giants are a better team than the Cowboys. It's just that that's how they play. Or it's going to be the other way around. So we'll see. They're going to lose one of the next 2 games. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Alternatively, they could just lose both.
I would fucking love that. That's for sure.
I vote
nothing would be hotter. Nothing would be hotter. All right, let's take this one from the chat. What do we have? Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. Okay, so we get to pick 3 options here. We have Olave, D-Hop, who is questionable.
Okay.
Ayuk, Hollywood Brown, which
Kadarius.
That concerns me.
Yeah.
Toney, Pollard,
and Pittman. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, my head hurts.
Okay, so it's.
Can we pretend D-Hop is healthy?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so
it's definitely Olave is in for me, I think.
Yes, Olave is definitely one of them.
Yes.
Zeke is back now.
Zeke is coming back.
Pollard is back to the bench because Jerry Jones loves him some Zeke, so Pollard's out.
He doesn't love him. He just paid him already, so he's
he loved him by paying him too much, so you have to play him now. So I'm going to go Olave, D-Hop, and
Ayuk. I think Ayuk has a decent matchup against the Cardinals.
Ayuk has been doing really well. Ayuk has been crushing it.
My concern is like they're going to take this like we're just going to run the fuck out of the ball and then not pass Ayuk.
I would go Olave, D-Hop, and Toney.
He followed this with if you can get Kadarius Toney, definitely get Kadarius Toney with these options. Like I feel more confident in Toney over like half of these options.
Yeah, over Brown, over Pollard, Pittman.
Like I would do Toney, Olave, D-Hop. Pittman has a harder matchup against the Eagles.
Yeah, Slay got embarrassed last week by McLaurin.
But I think he was having a bad week. So it was a bad
it's a bounce back week for Slay, so I don't like that.
I agree. All right, we have how many left? Oh my God, this is the longest show ever, you crazy people. Okay, we have 1 left. All right. At 15 Royals, 15 Chiefs. If you had to bet your last $100, which I hope no one has ever left on their last $100, it stresses me out, on either Saints -4.5, Broncos 2.5, or the Panthers +13, Baker starting. Who are you betting? I feel very strongly about this. So I'm interested to hear what you say, because I actually responded to this on Twitter and didn't realize it was for the show. But I feel strongly, and it's a gross strongly. I hate it. I hate my response.
Well, the answer is Broncos.
Because
the Broncos, only because they're playing the Raiders, who have found it to waste Devontae Adams' season and talent, and become one of the worst, if not the worst, playing teams in the league currently. So it is, unfortunately, as bad as the Broncos have been, the Broncos, because it's not the Panthers, because the Panthers might lose by 28 points. And I would never trust the Saints for anything, much less at -4.5 with Andy Dalton. So the answer is, by process of elimination, excuse me while I go puke, the Broncos.
Yeah, it's disgusting. This is gross, right? Because you look at the first one, right? So we're looking at Saints 4.5. Well, I actually kind of like the Saints in this spot at home. 4.5 is too much. Absolutely not. No, thank you. Maybe there might be value. I don't know what the money line looks like. That might be a better play than taking a 4.5 here. I don't know who the fuck is playing QB. For either teams at that rate. Both teams suck. The Rams are 3-6 in last place in the NFC West, and their schedule sucks moving forward. The Rams are done. Like, that's it. They're off a double-digit loss at home to Arizona. I mean, what are you guys doing? You lose Cooper Kupp. And then you also look at the Saints were missing like the left side of their O-line, and I guess like you could make the argument that kind of sucks, but still, it's not. And then Denver, right? Derek Carr was just crying because the Raiders lost to fucking Jeff Saturday. He's a high school football coach, is what he is.
Derek Carr was
and they have home field advantage. There's only one field that I feel very strongly about home field advantage, and it's the Broncos. So right here is the Broncos. I don't even think that I need to continue and talk about the Panthers. I don't like double digits. I also don't like the Panthers. Baltimore is coming off a bye. You should look, if you want to, look up the stats for Lamar off a bye, which is great. And people forget too, like, they're playing Baker Mayfield, who very much knows this team very, very well. Baker sucks. Carolina sucks. Give me Denver. Disgusting. But I think Baltimore is heating up at the right time. And then we will wrap this up with the last question in the chat, which is QB, Geno, RB, Barkley, Chubb, wide receiver. Okay, this is intense. This is like a lot to get. Wide receiver, Judy. Is Judy okay? Tight end, Freiermuth flex, 2 in league. 2 flex.
2 flex. 2 flex.
Okay, and bench, Cup and Chase. Okay, you can't do that. I see. Thank you so much for actually giving a background, because normally we get these questions and we're like, I don't know what your team looks like. I can't help you. Okay, now I see a better picture. So basically you don't have Chase and you don't have Cup right now.
Right.
Please. Oh, God. But Buffalo's secondary is my problem. I like Patterson this week. But I like Peoples-Jones too. It depends. And I think that the Buffalo secondary has been kind of getting their ass beat lately since they lost what they have. What do you think? Poyer's gone? I don't know.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. 3-game losing streak. Trade ideas for wide receiver?
Oh, trade ideas. Oh, we're not picking. I see.
No, we're not picking.
Is Darius Slayton available? That would probably be the first one that comes to mind.
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney, if you could. Darius Slayton's probably on waivers.
No one's picking him up.
No one is picking him up. Check for that first. That would be my first pickup. You obviously realize that, and you're smart because you have DPJ. So you're on top of your Demarcus Robinson's interesting. Duvernay's interesting. The Ravens wide receivers have a nice matchup these next couple weeks. Who else? I don't know. Not anyone.
Christian
really.
Watson, if he's still there, he's
Christian Watson might still be there.
No one's picked him up.
I picked up who else? You could pick up Paris Camp, like some of those type guys. Yeah. But I would look for Ravens wide receivers.
Brandon Ayuk
is a great option. Or what you could do is, I don't know, I haven't looked fully into their injuries, but maybe you try and get Juju or Mecole Hardman right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, go for
one of
those injured guys.
All right, we got to get off here. It's been almost 45 minutes, and Daniel definitely has plans because he's quite the socialite these days.
Right.
Thanks everyone that tuned in. This was fun. Go download the app. We actually until 11:45. We have a promo going on. Use the word Quay. You get $25 bonus. Use that to play on Sunday. Turn that into, that's 2 entries. So turn that into 4,800 at this point. So we'll catch you guys next time. Any last thoughts, Daniel?
I really wish they had played the Buffalo game in Buffalo in the 18 feet of snow because that would have been hilarious.
It would have been so much fun. Now it's being played in Detroit, and it's
which is
not
lame.
fun.
Not fun
Lame.
at all. Boo.
All right. See you guys.